Hi guys, finally getting around to making an editing video for that photo shoot I have posted with the family of four. We are going to do some coloring in Lightroom, then I'm going to bring it into Photoshop and I'm going to show how I retouch my clients. I did get permission from mom to use her as an example because she is a friend of mine. She's obviously perfect and beautiful and does not need any retouching. But I do get asked a lot how you can retouch and still make it look natural and subtle at the same time. So let's dive right in. All right, guys, so here we are. I have the pictures that I gave her sneak peeks for. I have those pulled up in Lightroom, so I was just going to kind of work off of those since those are the ones that I have posted and a few of you may have already seen. I am just going to go straight and use my usual preset that I use for almost every single shoot that you've seen posted, which is the G Presets Pack 03 Mark II. And then I use G Preset number 5, and I just apply that. And then I will just make my adjustments. So it is looking a little dark, so we're going to adjust that first because I can't look at anything else until I know that those colors have been, or the lighting has been adjusted. Um, Bear with me if I use wrong words. It's hard, it's hard for me to focus and like talk at the same time. Okay, so let's go down. What I usually remove the grain from my edits just because I don't tend to like the grainy look unless it's like a few pictures I will do like super grainy and moody. I tend to add a little bit of luminance. I just feel like it makes the overall like image look creamy, I guess. I do bring up my sharpening. Um, and then for this particular image, I feel like I would add a little bit more contrast. At least two, actually, we're going to Command Z that. I want to add contrast to just my subjects for this one. So I'm going to add a new mask. I'm going to hit for a new mask for the subjects. And then let's add some contrast on just them. And I feel like I like that more because before when we were adding contrast globally all over the entire image, it made these blacks really black and just overall the background and the foreground was just a little bit too contrasty. So now we've just got, as you can see, they don't look so pasted in there. Um, and I might bring up their exposure a little bit. And sometimes just for skin tones, I'll just add a little bit of magenta. We were shooting in a really green background, so I feel like the color casting would make skin tones look a little green. Like you can even see on her romper, it looks a little bit green, and this just now it looks white. So yeah, that is what I would do so far in Lightroom. I did take this picture into Photoshop and I removed the light pole and I didn't remove anything else. I retouched her a little bit. So let's go to the next image. So I use, I think it's literally called Fog in a Can on Amazon because I saw a comment asking what fog I use. I buy it on Amazon. Um, I do remove this in Photoshop. I use AI to remove it. Yeah, let's just go in and I kind of just start over because I used a mask in that last image, so I don't want to just copy my settings over. Let's bring up that exposure. Okay. If you hear my baby crying, literally he's fine. I have a nanny downstairs watching him. This shot was supposed to be more artistic, so I'm not going to worry too much about the exposure being perfect because I kind of want it a little bit moodier. Let's go remove that grain. Let's up that luminance and yes, perfect. Okay. So I think that I want the fog and like the drama of all this to be pulled in a little bit more. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a background mask and then I'm going to subtract it basically from like here because that's already super dark and I actually might lighten that. I can't remember exactly what I did for the sneak peeks, but it would all be very similar to this. Okay. So now let's just See how much, oh, that looks so much better. So much better. This was before we did that mask, and this is after, and it just, chef's kiss, looks so much better. Okay. I feel like my greens look a little cool, so I might warm up the image a touch. Not much, but yeah. Okay, I feel like that looks good. Let's go in and just see if we do want to lighten this a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, I feel like I like that more. Yes. Okay. Okay, so we're going to apply the usual G preset, up that exposure. Um, let's get rid of that green. Okay, I might do another subject mask and see how that looks if I just add a little bit of contrast and exposure to just them, because I feel like they're not sticking out from the rest of the picture enough. Add a little bit of magenta. Yeah, I like that. I might, just because there's not a lot of light here and I just feel like it looks kind of funky, add a little bit more light on the foreground. Yeah, see, this was a, I know it's like so subtle, but it does make all the difference. Cool. Okay. I think let's do them first. We'll add some contrast onto brother and sister, and then I think I might even add more contrast here because I just feel like they look super washed out. But again, I don't want to add the contrast globally because there is a lot of dark shadows in this photo, and it's just going to make those shadows look even more like shadowy. Okay, that looks better to me. Pretty. Okay, so this one was a struggle. In hindsight, I wish that I would have adjusted. I don't like how shadowy she is on her face. I wish that I would have adjusted a little bit. The reason I aimed it this way is because I was getting a pretty ray of light initially through the trees in the background. But I don't know if it's the angle I shot at, but like as you can tell, just like there's shadows on the face, and it's not like cute shadows. I don't know. I was kind of disappointed because the pose is so cute, but like I don't know. Maybe I'm beating myself up, but I just did not. I wish I would have done this a little bit differently. Do a background mask. That way we can see dad a little bit better. Oh, I didn't mask them. Okay. That looks a little bit more three-dimensional to me. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one ended up being my favorite picture, or one of my favorite pictures from the shoot, um, just because of the textures and everything. Looked really pleasing. I liked the composition. Okay. I think that's all that was done to this one. Like, I just loved it. So there wasn't like a ton to do to it. And same with this one. So I usually, if it was just the preset and I didn't really use a mask, then I'll just hit previous. And there we go. And same here. This is when we did that fun shot where we photographed through mom and dad. Cute. Cute. I do end up, this bothers me. There's like a bug. I end up taking that out. Cute. Okay. This one I did actually make super grainy. I think I actually brought the clarity down and texture, and then I added a decent amount of grain just for like a filmy look. I thought it looked cute. Okay, hey guys, I have my images pulled into Photoshop, but I wanted to quickly let you know that I do use a plugin for skin smoothing called Portraiture. It's made by Imagenomic. It's amazing. Chef's kiss. Love it. Highly recommend it. It's a little pricey, but for what it does and what it can do for your business and your clients, like 100% recommend buying. Again, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but highly recommended. This is not a paid ad from them. This is coming from a photographer who has used them for like, I don't know, 7 years. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive in unless you wanted to take a quick pause and go buy Portraiture. Okay, so let's go ahead and liquefy. So I retouch using liquefy. I use the forward warp tool and I kind of just lightly drag where I want my little retouches to go. I try to watch out for things like hands, like we wouldn't want to do that because then it's obvious. Um, and again, we don't want to go crazy because mom's beautiful as she is. And if we wanted to bring in waistline or anything like that, it's literally so easy. Just the smallest little adjustments. Um, So that was before and after. And then let's go ahead and do our skin smoothing. So Imagenomic Portraiture. We're going to do, just because this image is a little bit grainy, I'm just going to do medium. And I do use the portrait fill light on, but I have it low, set to 15. It basically just like fills up dark shadows and stuff, which for this image, I feel like we definitely need it. Um, so we're just gonna hit, I usually put it on the same layer, but if it is an image where it has a lot of sand or a lot of like skin colored tones, then I'll do it on a new layer because I want to mask it on. Otherwise it's skin smooth, it's like sand and rocks and everything, and then your image just looks like over processed, and I don't really like that. So we're gonna hit okay. And you can see it was subtle. Go over to this one. This one I wouldn't do too much to, but we'll go ahead and liquefy just because again I wanted to kind of show how I do that. So we're going to use the forward warp and push that. Perfect. Good. Good. And then let's go ahead and actually let's use, we're going to use our spot healing brush tool. And instead of AIing, because sometimes AI takes too long, and I have been doing Photoshop since before that amazing tool came out. So we're just going to spot these out because these leaves, I don't know, the colors, it's just bothering me. My eyes keep going straight for them. I'm using my keyboard to like, I think it's the bracket key to like change the size of it as I'm using it. But yeah, I just feel like little adjustments like that just kind of look a little bit better. Let's run portraiture. It is kiddos, and I don't like to over smooth children's skin because their skin is already beautiful and perfect. See, that already looks like a little bit too much, but glad we didn't do medium. Okay, this is where I would utilize that handy dandy AI tool because I just feel like if I try to spot that out, it's just gonna take forever. It's gonna look really wonky and kind of like chunky, if you know what I mean. Sometimes when you like use it's like a huge space and like I don't even know what I'm gonna sample from. Like you have to have a texture to sample from to use those types of tools. See, that's perfect. Nearly done. Okay. Here I did use the forward warp tool to kind of bring subtle changes. There we go. I think the skirt puffed out kind of weird, so I like took that in. And again, I just feel like that looks a little more polished. So we are going to run Imagenomic on this. However, it is really backlit and it's already hazy. So running skin smoothing on is just going to make it look so, like it's going to look very fake. Um, so let's bring it down. Where is it? Okay. Oh my gosh, it's right there. Okay. We're going to bring down the smoothing quite a bit. Like we're gonna hardly see a change. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so we are going to I we're gonna AI this out. Again, I don't really have a lot of texture to sample from that would look natural. So at this point, it's just easier to go ahead and use the generative AI. Cool. Yep, I don't mind it. It's cool. We're gonna flatten and then we're going to pull up that forward warp tool again. And it gets tricky sometimes when, mom's looking down. So naturally, like, we all get a little bit of a chin. Doesn't matter who you are, we get a chin when we look down. But this is one of those situations where it's like there's hairs around, there's a head around. So, like, how do we make this look natural? It is a little bit of a struggle, but right now I'm just focusing on getting the chin where I want the chin. And then I'll slowly kind of start moving the hair back. And again, I know up close that might look funky, but like look how far away we are in the picture. Like so to me that just looks a little bit better. Let's go ahead and run skin smoothing on there. We're gonna do normal. Reset that back to 100% smoothing. Cool. Perfect. So again, super subtle changes, but they make the world of difference. And I just noticed this. It's like the anal retentive person in me. Generative AI might not let us fix that, but we're gonna try. Cute. Okay. All right. So first thing, we're gonna go in, use that forward warp tool, and boom, boom. We think perfect. We are going to, oops, let's run some skin smoothing. So what I did with that portraiture is I actually made it into an action. That way I don't have to do this every time. I literally just play on that. Like this is for heavy, this is medium, this is like in between, um, light and medium. But just for the video purposes, I'll keep running it through fully. All right, so for this one, let's use that spot healing tool to just clean up some skin blemishes. It's a great tool to get rid of any type of like lines or wrinkles. So sometimes I'll use it to just, oops. The thing about Imagenomic is like you don't need the cloning to be absolutely perfect because you can probably smooth the skin out. where it's not completely perfectly retouched, if that makes sense. So that's just with like the healing tools we did. So then we're going to go in and we're going to use our forward warp to liquefy. Again, so subtle. And I do want to, just because of the way I had mom lay, because she doesn't have these wrinkles in person. It was literally just the way that I had her lay. Okay, perfect. And then let's spot heal this out. Good. Okay, perfect. Okay, so for this one, I had just gone in and removed that bug. And I think I ran skin smoothing just to make it look creamy and soft.